But now you have riders like Albert, who is 19. He did his first race in Down Under with Bauke Mollema, and he was, I think, 20 years older than him. So that's really is something crazy, actually.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Odd Tandem. Today, we speak with one of the tallest riders in the peloton who just got finished with Paris-Roubaix, finishing 17th. So we had to pick his brain a little bit about Paris-Roubaix and also just about being one of the biggest riders in the peloton. So Daan Hoole, Jensi, what did you think about our chat we had with Dan today?
I loved how he talked about how his whole body was tired after Roubaix, that more or less everything was just hurting, but also how quickly he recovered. And I loved his take on the first participation of Tadej Pogačar.
And, you know, he told us he took 5 days off his bike and he was just kind of coming around, feeling a little bit better. And when you think about Tadej finishing Sunday in Roubaix and then having to race Amstel Gold the next weekend, maybe that explains a little bit of why we didn't see that normal Pog attack, right? So sit back and listen to our great conversation with Daan Hoole of Lidl-Trek. Welcome to the Odd Tandem.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Well, hey, no, thank you for joining us because we know that you just finished Paris-Roubaix last weekend.
Yeah.
It must be a little bit difficult to recover for something like that. So, yeah, how's the recovery going from Paris-Roubaix?
Yeah, good. Yeah, the first few days are really sore because not just your legs, but your whole body actually, because of the cobbles and what an impact it makes. But now I'm doing good. A few days of recovery, didn't ride the bike, and now in Spain preparing for the Giro actually.
Hey, before we talk more about your bruises and your body and the bike of Roubaix, we have the tradition of 4 little quick-fire questions.
Okay.
Quick question, quick answer. Alrighty, to loosen you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Good.
Okay. Who is the better climber, you or Mads Pedersen?
Mads Pedersen.
Okay. What was the biggest chainring you ever used in a TT?
68.
Oh, wow. Which classic do you hate more, Flanders or Roubaix? Not loving it. Which one you hate more?
Oh, that's a good one. Then I have to say Flanders.
Alrighty. And at the Roubaix after party, you as a Dutch man, is it a Heineken beer or a Belgian beer?
No, we had actually we had wine, but for the rest it was mostly Belgian beers. Because we stayed in the hotel in Bruges, and I don't think they even serve Heinekens there.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm just happy to hear that you guys celebrate after the classic season, because back in our day, I was never a part of it, but I would see some of the photos that these guys would take, and I was wondering, you know, with weighing the food and all this regime stuff, if you guys actually let loose a little bit. So. Good to hear that. Good to hear that.
No, after the classic we always have a dinner. And actually this year I was planning to go home because normally I'm supposed to do altitude camp in Sierra, but then our sports director Greggy Rost, he said to me, no, you stay. We do a nice dinner and then we say goodbye. So I stayed actually.
I like that.
Tell me a little bit more about the actual sensations after Roubaix, because how many days did you take off? And you said your legs were sore, your body was sore. How many days did you take off, and how many days did it take to feel normal again?
I took 5 days off the bike, but also because it's like the end of the spring. So anyway, I had a rest period. And then I think after 2-3 days, you start to feel a bit better again. But also because you don't ride, you have different sensations. But then when you start riding again, you still feel a bit like the aftermath of this hard race.
So the 2 times I did Roubaix, both times in the rain. So now, is this a myth or is it true that riders on a dry day, they still cough the dust out the next Monday? Is that a myth? Is that stupid or is it actually true?
No, it's really. I have to say this year was not that extremely dusty because it rained a bit in the morning. But the years before I did, you have like a small cough the days after. And also a lot of riders get sick or irritations in the lungs because of this, actually.
Eesh. Hey, you just mentioned that you took 5 days off your bike. So,
Yeah.
respect. When was the last time you took 5 days off your bike? Was it before, during the last off season, or do you have these little micro breaks from time to time?
It was actually because I was sick after Paris-Nice. Then I didn't ride the bike 5 days, but otherwise, it was before in the off season. And normally it was not planned until after Roubaix to have like rest.
And 5 days, that's a little bit of time. You had a quick trip to somewhere else, or you said, do you know what? I'm so tired. I just want to stay home, sleep, do a little bit of Netflix and sleep more. Or did you did a little trip?
No, I stayed at home. I mean, I was so many days from home, and I just wanted to be home and spend some time with the family and some friends. So it was super nice to be at one place for a bit of a longer time.
So, Dan, last week we had our old friend and teammate Lars Bach talking about Paris-Roubaix. But he didn't do it. Jens didn't do it. I didn't do it. You finished 17th this year. I want to know your story, your drama, your memories from this year in Paris-Roubaix.
I have to say it was a really, really nice race. I mean, from the start on, we were really riding well as a team together. And then it was a fight of the breakaway, but in the end it went quite fast. Faster than the previous years. But then the stress started really early on already for the positioning. And then I think maybe it was for 10, 15 Ks a bit more easy. And then it really, the chaos started. And then to the first couple section was actually really crazy. I mean, the fighting for the positions and also a lot of crash happenings on the tarmac already before the cobbles. I think we really saw 3 or 4 big crashes with also one of our leaders, Jasper, involved. So that was not amazing. But then, once we hit the first cobbles, we were really there with the team. And I think that, the second and the third cobble sections we actually took from the front. Because normally the wind's supposed to be like head crosswind, and was a big chance of splitting the peloton. But actually, the wind was a little bit less than planned. So not a lot happened. And then I was fighting on until the group got smaller. I think this happened the first time on Haveluy, the section before Arenberg, and I did the running for Mads. And actually, you have the corner on the left, and then it's like 300 meters more of tarmac before the cobble start. And Mads, he passed me following Mathieu, and I dropped down a little bit, but a little bit too much. And then I think like two or three places in front of me, it split. And then we came back before Arenberg, but then it split again like 2 or 3 places in front of me. So then I was like in the bunch behind like the favorite riders. And then we were just I wasn't pulling, but the other guys were pulling. And then in the final we started attacking, and in the end I think our group, we were still riding for the 8th place. So you really see in a race like this, if you keep going, you can still end up with a nice result. And then I think our group, we rode away on the last 2 sections. And then, we were sprinting. You cannot call it sprinting anymore, because I looked and I think I did maximum like 600 or 700 watts or something. But it was just, keep the speed and go as fast to the finish line. But it was a really nice result. It was a shame Mats, he punctured. But I think as a team, we had a super nice day. And for myself also was the best result in the monument. So, I was really happy with that.
When you said you did a little bit of a lead out for Mats between the cobblestone sections, how did you experience the new chicane before Arenberg? They changed the way you go into. Was it helpful? Was it a good decision to make it like that, or it didn't change anything?
No, I think it was the good decision. I mean, now it's split already before, so anyway, it was not a super big group. But I think it's just it doesn't matter how big the group is. It's better if you don't come with so high speed to Arenberg. I mean, in the past you enter there with maybe 70 k's an hour, and if then something happens and you crash on the cobbles, then the consequences are really big. So I think it's just good to get the speed out of the peloton. And with these corners was good, because I think now we started maybe at 40 or 45. Does make the section a lot harder, because in the past, like, the first few hundred meters were more or less for free, and now you feel really from the start on already how bad these cobbles are, and then especially till the end you really have to keep finding.
Just to go back to what you said about sprinting at maximum 600-700 watts. An old friend and teammate of Jens and I he coined this term that explains exactly what you just referenced. Stuart O'Grady used to say pig rooting, like when you get up and you just can't do anything. Jensi, you remember that?
Oh, hell yeah, of course I do.
I said that to a friend of mine, a cyclist, recently, and he just started laughing. He goes, "What does that mean?" So now I'm going to tell him, come and listen to the Dan episode of the Odd Tandem. And when you get out of the saddle and you can't really sprint and you're just kind of accelerating as much as you can, that's pig rooting.
Yeah, I have to say, before already, I felt one time in our group when we started attacking, and then I followed one attack of the young Portuguese guy of UAE. And then it was just like a small bridge. Like, if you do it on training or in a normal race, like, it's nothing. But now it really felt like a big mountain. And as soon as you went out of the pedals, like, your legs were screaming so much that you had to sit down. And I was really fighting the bike at that moment.
Talking bikes, did you had a special setup on your bike or within the team Lidl-Trek, apart from wider tires, I suppose, but anything different, or just bigger tires, less tire pressure? Like, talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, so we have special wheels from Bondrager to they are a little bit wider and stronger. Then wider tires, of course, from Pirelli. And then this year we really have to thank SRAM a lot, because they let us ride the gravel group set, and this was really perfect for these conditions. It was shifting really well, no go shifting at all on the cobbles, and I have to say it was really something where I think we had an advantage to, like, the other teams who are not using it.
Go back a little bit there and explain to me, what is the difference between your normal road group and the gravel group? I mean, other than it being a one-by, maybe. What are?
It's a one-by. So we also used it in Flanders. And then we had like a really big cassette with, I think the end was a 42. So that was actually, in the start of the season, I was doubting to use this because the jumps are quite big in the cassette. But actually in Flanders, it was really good as well. The jumps were not too big for the riding. But now in Roubaix, they changed the cassette. It was like a normal cassette. But you just have less go shifting on the cobbles, so the derailleur makes less movement, and the shifting is in general just a little bit more clean without jumping, and I have to say it worked really well.
Hey Jensi, real quick, you have some in with the Trek people. Can you get me that 42 cassette? I mean, I'm going to use a 39 front chainring and then 42 in the back. You can hook me up a little bit with that?
Don't take him serious. Look, Bobby looks like my age, but actually he's turning 78 next week. So that's why he wants a 42, a 23 in the front and a 42 in the back. Don't take him when serious, that man says.
Now that I know it's out there, I'm going to find one.
Yeah, you should. It's really good.
Then a little bit more tech talk. Did you had a quick look on that automatic tire or self tire adjusting system the team Wiesma Liso bike used? You think it works? Do you think it helped? Because it's a little heavier, a little more complicated. What's your opinion about that?
Yeah, it's difficult because we actually did the recon at the same time. So with Visma, so we could see already that they were using it and how it worked more or less. But it's difficult because in the end, it's like one more thing you have to think about during the race. Because you really have to think about it that, before the couple sections, you press the button to let the air out. And then also afterwards, remind yourself that you have to press it to put the air in. And then I think for a few K, it takes a lot of time. And I also don't know how accurate it also is. So I don't know how many, I think it's like one press or something is let's say half a bar out and one press is half a bar in. So you really have to think about how much you have to put in and put out. So it's something that definitely helps on the tarmac because also in a race like this, every advantage you can take in the end, will make a big difference. But I don't know if it's really to use it really, I think it would be quite difficult.
Take us a little bit inside the race car. Who is driving the race car, and what sort of commands are they giving you? What are they communicating to you over the radio during the race? Yeah,
so the DS was Steven de Jong, and then I think the driver of the car was Gregory Rust. And then they're saying the situation, what's happening, where we need to be in front, when the beat-ons are, the wind direction, the changes, which way. And also in Roubaix, they tell a lot, like the kilometers in between the cobble sections. So you know a bit like, okay, I can sit a bit in the wheels and when to move up, etc. I mean, you know from the recons, but then when you do the race, for sure, with all the suffering, you forget a bit. And in Roubaix, in the end, is also a crazy chaos. So with Jasper with Jasper crashing and also Edward Teuns crashing, you hear so many things on the radio, and at some point, you only listen to the things who are meant for you.
So, like, double question. What did you think? What went through your mind when you heard that Mads Pedersen had a puncture in the front group with the favorites? Yeah. And what did you think when you heard he still finished third on a podium?
Yeah, I have to say it's really difficult to sometimes hear from the comments the S-car gives what the situation in the race is. Because I was not sure if Mats was with the favorites at that moment or if he was a group behind. So in the beginning I was doubting a little bit, but then I found out he punctured from the front group. And that was really a shit moment to be honest. I mean, I think he was in the best shape of his life. Yeah. And I have to see if they would be able to drop him. And then with his sprint, he would have a really big chance of winning. So that's a really shame. But also, in a race like this, that those things can happen. And that he finished third still, that's just the class rider he is.
So I take it that you didn't have any crashes or any mechanicals, correct?
No, I was really lucky actually this year.
Wow.
Nothing. No blisters even, so it was a good day for me.
And the part you sit on, was that okay also?
It was also okay. Yeah.
That was well, that's important. If you cannot sit for 5 days at home.
Yeah, then you have a problem.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
No,
Good.
This year I really had actually zero problems. So, in the end, then you can also not complain too much about the race because I think if you don't have bad luck, you're one of the few riders actually in the race.
Yeah. I mean, we heard stories of, in the junior category, a kid having to run for 2 kilometers to get to the finish line. And, in the pros, there was Tommy Pidcock's brother finished almost an hour down. Yeah. Tell me did you get to take a shower in the famous Roubaix Velodrome showers, or did you just jump in that nice big plush bus that Lidl-Trek has?
No, this year I didn't go to the showers. Last year I did, but this year, I don't know, was just too tired and just wanted to shower. And then it's super nice to go to the showers, but also it's really busy, and also to get there are a lot of people on the road, so it also takes some time.
Is there hot water in those showers though?
Yeah, actually there are nice showers. It's hot water and good quality. And also, actually, there are a lot of photographers always in the showers.
Everybody wants to have his picture for eternity, for the memories, right? Hey, there's a picture. I was in that shower.
Yeah.
When you looked at Tadej Pogacar, I know he's not in your team. He attacked at about 102 kilometers to go for the first time. Did you think this is insane, or did you go, oh, here he goes again, we're never going to see him again? And also a bigger picture, how do you rate it before the start? How did you rate his chances to actually win or podium?
I think very, very big. I mean, you knew he was going to be in the final if he didn't have bad luck, because he's also really a good bike rider. Like, he knows how to position himself and also to ride on the cobbles. I think a few years ago he showed already in the Tour that he was really strong on the cobbles. So, yeah, we knew he was going to be in the final. And, yeah, to win, we also knew it was going to be hard with the sprint he has. And then without all the elevation, normally you would say he would never drop Mathieu. But, yeah, really impressive to see that, that he can do Paris-Roubaix as well. He can do it all. And also, if you see in Amstel how well recovered he already is, that's quite insane.
Yeah, we're living in some special times, and you know, your countryman who won the race, Mathieu van der Poel. Do you have any sort of relationship with him? Because he just seemed, for me, him, Tadej and Remco are like my favorite riders. We're yet to have them on the podcast. We're working on that, right, Jens?
Okay.
We're going to get those guys.
Yep.
So put in a good word for us, Dan. But tell us how riding around Mathieu is because he seems just like such an elegant rider. He never minces words. He seems like he's just a good guy, just rides his bike faster more often than not.
Yeah, I have to say he's a really nice guy. I mean, I did now, I think, 3 times the World Championships with him. And then also the Olympic Games I did with him and the Europeans. So I know him a little bit. But when we do these races, he's really relaxed. And sometimes I talk with him in the peloton. But he's really a class rider. I mean, that he crashed in Flanders really surprised me. Because I think since I turned pro, I never saw him crashing. He's so good on the bike and so strong. And also in Flanders and all the other races he did, it's insane to see him ride.
And you probably have not seen it on the day, but probably you heard of that yellow bottle that was thrown at him, right?
Yeah.
When he was out there. Like you, me, I can only say good things about him. He is a fantastic rider. He comes across as a nice person, gives good interviews, talks nice about the team, about people that are stronger than him, or when he loses, he goes, well, yeah, they were better than me. Well, it seems like he receives more hate or stress from spectators than other bike riders. Is that my impression? And if it's like that, why would it be with him? Because he doesn't have a Belgian passport? I mean, he's a fantastic rider. He's a good human being. You know, there's not a bad thing to say about him. Why would people hate him?
Yeah, it's really insane. I mean, that they throw a beat on him is something, really pathetic and actually something you really cannot do. And I hope, they find this guy and punish him really hard because, it's really insane. I don't know why they do it. I think it's a bit like, the fight between him and Wout, and that he, clearly is better the last years, and maybe the Belgian people are a bit jealous of it. And also, I think maybe because he doesn't have any flaws, that they hate him extra because of this. But on the other hand, he's also very loved by the Belgian people, and maybe they're like a handful of idiots who do those things. But they get, of course, all the lot of attention. Yeah. But I think in general, he's a very loved rider by the riders and the public. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, the way he rides is always aggressive. He's a nice guy, and he looks good on the bike. So it's,
Well, talking about being admired by the public, Lidl-Trek is having a really good season this year. I mean, they were omnipresent in the classics. Mathieu Skjelmose just won Amstel Gold. How is life at the Lidl-Trek team right now? It must be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Yes, this season is going really well. I mean, in the beginning, all the races I did, we won at least 1 or 2 stages. And then I think the classic period we did now was the best since I joined the team. And with the stepping of Lidl, we just made a step up with better riders, but also, let's say, the other riders, they look to the better riders and really improve themselves as well. I think like the internal
Competition?
Competition really made all the riders better and made sure everyone left no stone unturned to be at their top shapes at the big races. And then I think we just have a really nice group and always a super good atmosphere, which really helps. And this year has been a dream.
And to get in good shape, you need a trainer or a coach, right? And apparently your coach is Steven de Jong.
Yeah.
But he's not your trainer. You have a different trainer. Well, how is that? What is the situation there? What's the difference between a coach and a trainer, please?
Like in the team, you have your personal DS, who is like your coach and coach you with the races and stuff. And then you have your trainer who does like the trainings and make sure you're race ready. But Steven, he's like, the DS I speak about for my program. And if I have a problem or just like, my individual improvement points, I speak with him about. And then my trainer is Matthias Reck, Swedish guy, the same trainer as Mads. And he provides the training schedules.
We've heard a lot about Lidl's contribution or co-sponsorship, bringing in more money.
Yeah.
More money doesn't necessarily equate to the sort of success that you guys have had, but you mentioned making sure that no stone was unturned. So other than the monetary commitment, what additions, other than having a coach and a trainer, what other additions were they able to make that allowed you guys to find something special this year? Is there anything new that you guys tried with a new, department of the team?
Yeah, I think when Lidl joined, for sure, we also get just better quality of riders. I mean, we have now Jonathan Milan, who's one of the best sprinters and gives a lot of victories. But I think in the team itself, we have a lot of new stuff, especially nutrition-wise and like the studies behind training and food. We work together with a university who really provides us with a lot of information. And then I think also a lot of like data analysts we have now extra in the team who like see the bigger picture and look at all the data and see where we can improve and keep track on that. And I think, the last year of Trek Segafredo, we had already a really good year. And then we just kept on improving with like the small details who made everything a little bit better.
So, do you maybe know on top of your head how many people are in the team, the men's team or maybe men and women's team together? Just to give you a second to think about, my first team was a fairly good, big team.
Yeah.
We had 35 people full employed, and we had Liliane. She worked three days a week in the office in the Village Paris. So it was about 36 people, the entire team. How big is your team now? Is it 75 or something like that?
Yeah, we have like 30 riders and 14 or 15 women riders, I think. And then around 70 to 80 staff.
Wow, so that is 120 people, roughly.
Yeah. So in December camp, everybody comes, and then the first few days, it's really busy. And then you can see actually, what a big team we are.
And Trek also, or Lidl-Trek also has a development team. Do you guys ever get together, or do those guys come on recons to maybe learn something from you? Because you guys got first and second in the under-23 Paris-Roubaix this year. Did you guys stay at the same hotel, share notes, or are they kind of on their own program?
No, they like, I think, the December training camp and January training camp is all together, also with the women. So then everybody of the team is there. And in general, a lot of riders of the development team, they do already some races with the World Tour team. So we know a few riders who did some races. For example, Jacob Söderqvist, who came second, he did actually, I think this season, almost all the races he did as a pro. And we didn't stay in the same hotel because their start was different. They didn't do the forest, and so they had a different hotel. But Jacob and Albert, who became first and second, they did the recon with us because we did Scheldeprijs before, and then we went to the recon on Thursday.
Were you also part of a development team like this, or was it still a little different in your days? I mean, you're 26 years old now. You're not really an older generation.
No.
Was it already like as professional for you in the under 23? Because clearly for Bobby and me, we didn't even have an under 23 category back then. So, you know.
I have to say I was also in a really good development team, SEC. Was like one of the best Dutch development teams, but compared to what the guys have now is still really different. It's quite crazy to see actually in these 4 years how much it changed. Because now when like a development team of like a World Tour team, they have also like quite a big budget compared to like other continental teams. And now the guys, they get already the best material, the really good skin suits, and also all the knowledge of the team we have, they use as well. The nutritionists, the mechanics, the sports directors, all those things. And I think they also go already in a bus to the races. So they are quite spoiled, I have to say.
So what is your take on these juniors being recruited onto these development teams with the basically paved pathway all the way to the World Tour? I mean, you have a few of them at Lidl-Trek, and they are phenomenal talents. But what is, you know, Jens and I have our opinions, but we could be your father. So I'm curious of what your idea is with that. Do you think it's too much pressure too soon, or are these kids going to be just fine?
Yeah, it's hard to say because, you know, it's easy to say like, you shouldn't weigh your food or you shouldn't look at your power meter too much. But nowadays, all these young guys, they do it. So if you want to perform at the level, you probably have to do it. Otherwise, you will not be able to perform. So it's difficult to say to this guy like, stay more relaxed, race a bit like old school. But surely it's strange that somebody of 18 already goes to a World Tour team. I mean, I remember when I joined the Continental team and I was already quite nervous to meet the other guys. But now you have riders like Albert, who is 19. He did his first race in Down Under with Bauke Mollema, and he was, I think, 20 years older than him. So that's really something crazy, actually. I mean, I cannot imagine how it must be for him. How strange it must feel. And actually, when I was in SEC, I liked it also a bit, you know, like the old school where you have to learn things yourself and get like a bit hard, you know, instead of that, you get like spoiled from the start. But I think it's something, we probably cannot change anymore.
And when you talked about your development team at the Seka, how did you get there? How did you start cycling? I mean, you're from Holland. Cycling is a big sport there. But did you try soccer before, or ice skating, or anything else?
Yeah, I played soccer and or I have football, and tennis when I was younger. But then, I come from a village actually with a lot of cyclists, like also a few old pro riders. Like Maarten de Bakker, he came from the same village.
We raced together.
Yeah, Martijn Maaskamp, he was also, I think, in Cannondale. So it was, there was always riders going, training. And then my daddy always used to do like the Cyclo Liège-Bastogne-Liège or Amstel Gold Race. So I was always familiar with the sport. And then my brother started doing it. And then, I went to one of his races, and then when I saw him riding, I also wanted to ride. And then actually, I think I started at age 10 or something. And since then, I never stopped. And every year, started doing it more serious until the juniors. And then when I think SEC, they messaged me, and then I joined their team, which was really nice.
So 26 years old, you started when you were 10. To our viewers and listeners that don't know, Dan is 1.98 meters tall, which is basically 6'6", 6'7". When did you get so tall? Were you always tall, or did just like from one year to the next you grew a meter?
Yeah, no, I was always tall, but never like this tall. And then I think when I was 15 or 16, I gained in 1 year like 12 centimeters or something. It stayed the same way, so I really like was stretched and like a super skinny guy at that moment. And then I think it was first year junior from when I gained this length.
So you had to get a totally new bike fit because you grew 12 centimeters. That's
it was hard for my dad because I had to all the years I had to get a new bike. And especially with this length, sometimes it's difficult to get a good bike. It's not all the brands who make a big bike. So I'm lucky with Trek that they make a big bike.
So you're the third tallest rider in the world tour. It is Norsgaard, I believe, right? Max Walscheid second and you're third. Was war mir 89. When you joined the team Trek, Lidl-Trek, could Trek then just take a frame from the wall from production, or they had to make a special edition for you?
No, actually, they had to make some adaptations. Because when I was still on the 23, then I sent my sizes to the team. And then, the guy who take care of all the bikes, he called me and said, we maybe have a problem. But luckily Trek is so flexible that they make a longer seat post for me. And for the rest was fine.
So it's not just you. Jonathan Milan, Alex Kirsch are all quite tall. What is the official size of your bike, or are they just making that extra long seat post to fit? Because I ride a 56. Do you ride a 66?
No, I think now it's 61.
61.
And on the new bike, I don't need a longer seat post. So I don't know if they made the new geometry especially for me. But now I don't need a longer seat post anymore. Only on the TT bike.
And talking about bikes, for me, it was always one of the best times or days in my season, December training camp, to get all the new clothing and the brand new bike. Is that the same for you, or you were too young to appreciate it? For me, every year until I was 42 years old, in my last season, I'm like, oh yes, this is so good. I get a brand new shiny bike. Do you have some similar feelings? You go, nah, I just work on it.
No, for sure. When you see the new bikes and like the big box of clothes waiting for you in your hotel room, you get excited. It's super nice to always get the new things. But now every year when you get to start a little bit more used to it, sometimes you can say, last year we had more clothes, eh? But still, it's really exciting to get the new stuff.
The younger generation seems so polished when they're speaking on TV, interviews, podcasts like right now. Do the teams put you through a lot of media training these days, or is it just everyone's becoming more professional when it comes to doing interviews?
If I have to speak for myself, I didn't get a lot of media training, I have to say. Obviously, they tell you a little bit what you can and cannot say. But they let you very free in this. It's not that they have a lot of things to say about this. But I think also with the social media and everything being on TV or internet, it changed a lot over the years. So what you say is gonna be on the internet forever. So you must watch out a little bit more. So I think in general everybody is a little bit more conscious about this.
I just had a quick look at the podiums of Flanders and Roubaix, right? They were the same three riders, slightly different order, right? It was both times, it was Tadej, Mathieu and Mads Pedersen. Do you think that will be the same for the next 2 years at least, that these three riders will battle it out in between them?
I think if Tadej still does all the classics, there's a big chance of this. At the level they are now, it's hard for somebody to be able to compete with them. I think last year Wout, he was still there, and this year he was maybe a little bit less. But nowadays they race from so far out that it's also really difficult to anticipate. And actually, when there was a really good group where I was in Flanders, with a lot of good riders like Ties Benoot or Stefan Koen, who anticipated early. Yeah. In the end, you see if they go fast 1 or 2 times on Quaremont and Kompenberg, they can catch him back already and close a minute or a minute and a half quite easily. So it's just nowadays really difficult to compete to these guys and maybe have somebody on the podium who is more or less a surprise.
Well, I got to take this opportunity to ask you this question because you mentioned a couple old school names like Martin den Bakker. My first trip to Europe ever was in 1988. And when we got to the Junior Dusica Tour in Austria, we were staying in the same hotel as the Dutch national team. Orange jerseys. We had the stars and stripes. And most of those guys spoke English. And one guy that we raced with a long time and was pretty much the king of the Amstel Gold race, Eric Decker. Do you remember Eric Decker?
Yeah, no, for sure. I was in the same team as David. He was also in SEC. His son.
So what is Eric Decker up to now? Like Amstel Gold was on TV. I could think about him. I was thinking about my first race over in Europe where Eric was so nice to us and taught us all the bad words in Dutch, which I guess wasn't a part of his media training back then, but I think I still remember a few of them. But how's he doing? Where is he at?
I think he was a sports director in a smaller team, continental team for a while. I'm not sure if he still does this, but I don't speak to him very often, but I think he's doing well. But not really in cycling anymore if he's not in this continental team.
How good of a rider was he, though, Jensie? Tactically, man, he could eat your lunch so easily. He was 3 steps ahead of everything that you were doing tactically, at least me.
He was part of the breakaway when we got caught on the finishing straight in the Tour de France. Him and me, we got caught on the finishing straight. Me, sitting up, I still finished 17th on the stage in a field sprint. That is how close he caught us, like 100 meters to go. Sabel, Oscar Freire and all these guys, McEwen, they all came flying past. I still finished top 20 in a bunch kick because he caught us like at 100 to go. I'm like, oh. But anyway, you talked about that you slowly start to get ready for the Giro Italia. You have done 2 Giros, I believe, and 1 Vuelta a España. Is maybe this year the first Tour de France for you on the menu?
No, normally not. No, sadly not. No.
We got to know a little bit about your preparation for the Giro. I mean, obviously you mentioned before that Jonathan Milan is one of the top sprinters in the world right now. Are you guys going there for sprint wins, stage wins, GC, or a combination of everything?
Yeah, Jonathan, he's going to the Tour, but to the Giro we're going with Mads. So we're going there with him for stages and the Ciclamina jersey as a goal. And then Giulio Ciccone, he's riding really well this season. I think he's going to try for GC. But normally I was planning to do altitude camp together with my teammate Vacek after Roubaix before the Giro, but he crashed really hard in Roubaix. So now, he could not go, and I didn't want to go alone. So now I'm in Spain training here and just preparing for the Giro.
Where's your go-to altitude training location? Where would you have gone if Vacek didn't get hurt?
Normally we would go to Sierra. I've been there now, I think 2 or 3 times. And then I've been in Livigno, and last year with the team before the Olympics we were in Andorra. So it's not really one spot I always go to, but depends also a bit like the time of the year. Yeah. Because with the weather.
And for my teammate of years and years ago, Kolobnev, he has a hotel as a altitude room hotel. Is that a thing in pro cycling, or is it just for amateurs you want to get better? Or do actually pro riders go there? And what's your take on this?
Yeah, a lot of riders go there. I think Alpecin, they always prepare the season there. Mathieu always goes there. And now I've also been there, I think 2 or 3 times actually. Which is, it's a bit the same like an altitude tent, but then much more easy because it's like a complete room. So it's more easy to spend time there, and it's a bit like simulated altitude. I don't think it's like gives you maybe the same effect as real altitude, but still, something really good for preparations. Because here where the hotel is, it's always good weather, and you can train a little bit harder than at real altitude, and also a lot more flat. So maybe for like the classics riders is better than to go really on a mountain where you have to climb a lot.
Yeah. And where are you based training right now in Spain? Where exactly?
Gavea, so it's close to Calpe. Normally with the team we are always here, close in this area.
And just after taking 5 days off and getting done with the classics block, I mean, the Giro isn't that far away. What are you concentrating on with your training right now? Is it just kilometers and getting your body back into it, or are you already starting with specificity?
It's always quite difficult, the preparations for the Giro, if you do like the whole spring campaign, because there's not really a lot of time to do a lot of training. But normally you come out of the classics with a good shape and a big base. So it's just more a little bit of staying fresh, keeping the fitness, but not doing too much to not be too fatigued, and also mentally ready for the long 3 weeks.
As we slowly coming towards the end of our podcast, I got one more question. Daan, you're a very tall rider. That also means there's more muscles on you. Therefore, you're a little heavier, right? Because you're tall. There's just a lot of Daan out there, right?
Yeah.
When you now go to these grand tours, like the Giro Italia, and there for sure will be stages where it starts uphill or short stages with a lot of mountains. What goes through your mind? Do you swear words inside your mind? You love it, you hate it, you're afraid? Do you ever go, I cannot do this. I want to go home, or I want to just throw my license in the garbage and go home? Or you always believe, I'm going to make it, I'm going to make it? Or is there moments in these killer mountain stages where you go, Jesus, I hate this so much?
Yeah, it's super hard, because indeed what you say, with my length, you always... also one of the heaviest rider of the peloton. Like, I'm 85 kilos, so there are not going to be a lot of riders more heavy than me. But I have to say, in general, I climb pretty well. To not, of course, you suffer a lot, and especially 2 years ago in the Giro, I crashed already the second stage, and then really I suffered the first 1.5 week. Really, like, insane. But actually, I think I am like, my type is a bit of a climber, but then I'm just too tall and too heavy. But like the kind of effort I really like the steady power and pace. So it's okay in the mountains. But I think last year when we had one of the stages with 5,000 meters of climbing and more or less 7 hours on the bike. Then at one moment when you have to do the Mortirolo, and then afterwards still the climb to the finish, then you start swearing a bit inside. But luckily we managed. Also in the Giro, the time cuts are quite, they're quite okay. It's not a lot of stress most of the time.
Okay.
I wasn't going to ask, but now I have to, because we know your height, now we know your weight. You're a big guy. So your CDA is probably not as low as a lot of these little climbers. No. When you're talking about your steady state pace, your FTP, your threshold, what do you want to call? What is your steady state FTP threshold power?
Like if I'm in good shape, like 480.
I knew it. Oh, geez. Yeah, people. 480 watts. Pretty impressive. Well, Daan, we got to flip the script here a little bit. We got to change the vibe about the Giro. Hey, the Giro has great food, the hotels, beautiful scenery. Let's think about that good stuff, not just that suffering up those 30 kilometer climbs. So thank you so much for coming on the Odd Tandem today, and good luck to your team, you and your team, at the upcoming Giro.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, thanks again for watching the podcast. If you enjoyed our chat today with Dan, why not check out our video with other Roubaix warriors like Sylvain Dillier or Taco Vanderhoorn by clicking here.
And please remember, you can sign up for our Patreon to get an ad-free version of the podcast, like these great people.